Hey everyone, Mark the Movie Man here for the final cut, and yes, today we're going to take a look at the highly anticipated sequel to Captain America: The First Avenger, and we're talking about Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Everyone's throwing in their 2 cents, so I figured I might as well contribute as well. Now, this time around we get the story of old Cap dealing with the fallout from the events of the Avengers. He's working as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and also the fact that he's still having trouble coping and acclimating himself, if you will, to the modern age. Things get further complicated when another super soldier shows up from the Soviet Union, this assassin who appears to be as quick and as powerful as old Cap himself, but just not quite such a nice guy as the Captain America we know and love, and his name is the Winter Soldier, and we see how the Captain tries to deal with that, as well as rumors and suspicions that the S.H.I.E.L.D. agency isn't actually what it appears to be, and that there may be some bad apples in the bunch. Folks, this was a fun action film that had a lot of elements of spy and espionage to them, and I really liked that. First and foremost, there are a lot of action scenes in here, as you would expect from the Captain America film from the Marvel Universe. We've gone through his origin story, so now we're dealing with balls-to-the-wall action, and a very interesting story as well. It had a kind of a James Bondish feel almost to it, with kind of the storyline that they took with it involving S.H.I.E.L.D. and the agency, and I really liked that. A little bit more of a mystery going on, not quite what we've seen before for the formula for our comic book films, because he's not, while you do have this Winter Soldier showing up in here in a number of scenes, and of course near the final showdown, it didn't really have that feeling like most of the superhero films before, where he has to have, you know, the little boss and the bigger boss, basically that kind of video game type of formula that we've seen in the past. So you don't have that in the Winter Soldier, and I really enjoyed that. Also, Captain America is joined by an interesting and as well as very skilled cast of characters. We've got the Black Widow back, and she plays a more, she gets a lot more screen time, I should say, in this film than we've seen in the past. She plays an integral role in the plot, as well as in assisting Captain America in finding out exactly what's going on, not only with the Winter Soldier, but with the S.H.I.E.L.D. agency. And I loved how she got a lot more screen time. Scarlett Johansson is a very talented actress, and it was great to see her kind of explore and expand on the character of the Black Widow, which a lot of people have loved. This badass, strong, female, kick-ass character with a mysterious past. And it was great to see her on screen for longer than bits and pieces here and there. She gets a lot of screen time where she's not just kicking ass, but she's also contributing to the film in other ways. And then we get a newcomer in here. We've got the Falcon in here, Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie. I love the addition of this character to the Marvel movie universe. I know he's been in the comic universe for a while, but I'm really glad that they put this character in here. He had a really good chemistry with Captain America, aka Chris Evans, who's playing him. These two actors really had a good chemistry, and their banter back and forth felt really good, and almost had kind of a buddy cop type feel to it, you know. So I really enjoyed that, where these two really seem to hit it off right away, and the characters in there really play off each other well and work well together. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of the Falcon, because he was a welcomed addition to the movie universe. We have Robert Redford in here bringing some experienced acting chops in a role you might not expect, and I really liked that as well. I really enjoy seeing actors break out of their kind of normal stereotypical type of roles that they're in. So seeing Robert Redford in here was really great, and he had some great on-screen scenes with Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury. I really enjoyed the fact those scenes together. You could feel the intensity between these two veteran actors as they just went toe to toe, and I just loved the scenes that they were in together. It's in general, this is a fun comic book film. I enjoyed this, I would say, as much as Captain America, actually maybe a little more. It is one of my favorite Phase 2 films, though I did like Thor: The Dark World as well, but there's a reason for that. The guys who wrote the script for that, as well as Captain America: The First Avenger, wrote the script for this, and I do believe they're writing the script for Cap 3. I'm not quite 100% sure on that, but I believe they're taking on Cap 3 as well, and I'm looking forward to that, especially to see where they take this character next. Now, there are a couple of things that I did have a problem with The Winter Soldier. It was not a perfect film for me. One of the things was, in the beginning, there's some close quarters fighting going on, and I got to see it in the 3D extraction, and it was 3D extraction going on with some of the action scenes. There was just a little bit too much close-ups, I thought, and I know they were close quarters fighting, and the director's trying to get you in to make you feel the action, but visually, it was very distracting with some of that moving camera. Now, he did seem to back the camera away on some of the fight scenes later on, and it wasn't as much of a distraction. Maybe it's just because my eyes adjusted. I'm not quite sure, but there was a noticeable difference in the way the fight scenes were kind of shot in the beginning and the way they were later on. And so I'm glad it expanded out a little bit, but in the beginning there was a distraction to me. Also in here, the one thing with the Captain America, we got that he's having trouble acclimating to the modern age. We get that hook. We've gotten that in the Avengers, okay? And so I didn't think we needed to really explore it again so much in this film. Even though I know it's Cap's standalone film, we get that he's having trouble acclimating himself and getting used to this modern age. So I know they wanted to maybe expand on it some more, but we get that. It's not a huge, deep concept, and I think we didn't need so much of that in this film. We kind of get that, though it did make for some humorous moments as well. There is humor in here, as there is with most Marvel comic book films, and some interesting twists, and a couple of interesting post-credit scenes, one in the middle, and then one near the end, which you should see both of. Folks, this is a fun action comic book film, everything that you expected from a Marvel Universe Phase 2 movie. This is the first of 3 Marvel films this year, and I'm interested to see the other 2, but so far I really enjoyed this one, and I gave it 4 stubs. I had a great time at the movie theater, enjoyed the characters and the performances. It'll be sad to see Chris Evans leave this role of Captain America in 2017, as he has stated he may do, because he's really come into his own with this character, and you can tell that he's really comfortable with it, and it helps in the film to sell his character of Captain America. So check it out if you can at the theaters, blowing up the box office, and there's a good reason why, because it's a good comic book film. And that'll about do it for us here at The Final Cut. Until next time, folks, remember, keep that ticket stub.